Hey everyone, it's Craig Cockrell, the new Albuquerque District Superintendent, which still surprises and shocks me, especially when I see it written somewhere. This is my attempt at a district wide newsletter. I hope to do it with video. If any of you can't get this and you want a transcript of it, get somebody to write it down and send it to you, I guess, because I'm not going to write this stuff down. I was since I'm new, I thought I'd introduce myself. I was born in Santa Fe and baptized in Albuquerque, and was raised in Las Vegas, New Mexico. I received my call to ministry at the Glorieta Baptist Conference Center near Pecos, New Mexico, where we used to have annual conference. I'm married to my high school sweetheart, Susan Edwards. She was third generation Las Vegan. We don't remember when we first met. It was probably at a grade school birthday party, but we don't know. We're going to celebrate our 40th anniversary this month. Two of my four boys were also born in Las Vegas. I went away all to undergraduate school after I graduated from Robertson in Las Vegas. I went away all the way to Portales, New Mexico, to Eastern New Mexico University, where I intended to study to become a forest ranger and live among the trees and the animals. But I took a psychology course and it just captured my mind. So instead of deciding to dissect little animals, I decided I would dissect the minds of human beings. And when I left ENMU, I had a double degree in religion and psychology and a minor in sociology, and I headed off to what I thought was going to be a pastoral counseling program at ILIF in Denver. But somewhere along the line, I decided I wanted to be a general practitioner more than a specialist in ministry. All this is to say that while I've served a fair chunk of my 35 years as a local pastor in both Clovis and the El Paso districts, my roots and in many ways my heart are right here in the Albuquerque district, and I'm pleased and shaken to be the new Albuquerque district superintendent. It's my hope to send a video newsletter once a month at least. We'll see how I do with that. I often start off well and get tied up. So I'll hope that you'll hold me accountable for that. With that in mind, here's the news for Thursday, August 2nd, 2018. I should have the Charge conference schedule out early next week. I know some of you are waiting on that. I've been waiting on some conference dates and some personal events to kind of get calendared before I do that. Your Pastor Parish Relations or Staff Parish Relations Committee church and pastor evaluation forms are due this past June, so be sure and get those in on time. I'm also thinking about District Charge Conference set up picnics sometime soon. One in Farmington and one in the Albuquerque area. These meetings would bring the families together, bring the pastors together, and give us a chance to talk a little bit about conference agenda and eat some hot dogs and hamburgers and just have a good time. I would like to bring us together more often. Tentative date for the district superintendent installation, which I have nothing to do with, is set for Sunday, August 26th. Jeannie Williams is the superintendency chair, and that's on her. But August 26th, sometime in the late afternoon, so that all of you who are just dying to come and install me will be there. I'm assured that until I'm installed, I can back out of this gig at any time. And the bishop has personally assured me that he can change my appointment at any time he wants to as well. For those of you new pastors in the district, I want to encourage you to get involved in coaching. If you don't know much about coaching, it's a way of helping us think through what we know to be our own answers to some of our issues. And so especially as you get started in a new congregation, I hope that you'll take this opportunity. The conference will pay for several sessions, and if you feel like you need some more, talk to me. If you can't afford that, we'll see what we can do. But coaching is a very valuable thing. I've had a couple of times in my career where I've been coached, but I'm told it can have positive results too. So I would encourage you to get involved in coaching. Contact Linda Nash. Is that right? I think that's right. Linda Nash. Linda Nash. There's a couple of emails for her. She can give you all the information, give you a list of possible coaches. You pick out your own coach, but I would like to see you start that now for you new pastors. And for any of you who are not so new pastors and you feel like you could just use someone to help you bounce ideas off of, someone to help you think through what you need to be doing, coaching is just a valuable thing for you. And if you can't afford that, again, talk to me. In the future in these newsletters, I plan to brag on the district. At every opportunity, I want to brag on the good things that are going on in the district. Belen has been talking to Doug Rowley, spouse of St. John's new pastor Pam, and St. John Albuquerque, and Doug was very involved in a ramp building program down in the Las Cruces, El Paso area, and Belen is very interested in getting that started in their area, and Keith Baskett was telling me about it and has I think some great ideas for outreach into the community. I was over at doing a charge conference at Mesa View with John Nash last Sunday. And they are really excited about some of the things they have planned for their future, also reaching out into the community. When we have our charge conference, I hope we'll have more conversation than conference, that we'll get the paperwork out of the way and we'll have a chance I want to hear what you're excited about in your community and what you're doing to reach out into the life of your community and make contact. Let's see, what else do I have here? There's been some flooding in our district. You know, it's still kind of ongoing in some areas, and we've had some houses damaged down in San Antonio near Socorro and in Belen. And Vernon Baker, the conference, Volunteers and Mission emergency response guy, has been really good about doing that, and there's been a handful of other people that have helped him. What we need is a response team that is district-wide. Just about every congregation has someone in it who likes to fix things, who likes to be helpful, who likes to jump up and do what's needed. And if we could get some of those names of people to Vernon Baker, where he could just send out a call and someone could be within hours perhaps available to help muck out houses or place sandbags. Maybe there's a youth group that wants to be on that list, that there are youth who would be called up to help with those kinds of things. Maybe there's a UMW circle who longs to dig trenches. I don't know what it's going to be, but in every congregation there are people who want to be that kind of a person, superheroes. And Vernon Baker needs a list of superheroes. If you can get those to him so he can contact them in these kinds of crises. Finally, I'm visiting churches every Sunday in worship. Fortunately, I've been able to do it every Sunday. Susan comes with me sometimes, and sometimes I go alone. But I come just to worship. Now, you probably need to introduce me because I want people to begin to know my face. As unforgettable as it is, I want them to know who the Albuquerque DS is, so that when we begin working together in lots of different ways over the next few years, they'll go, "Oh yeah, that's that guy who can't remember his own name. I know him." And I want them to get to know me. So, but I come to worship. I come to sit, and I come to worship. I've heard the sound of my own voice for 35 years of local pastorate ministry, and I am so enjoying hearing other voices, seeing other worship, being in other spaces. So I hope you'll welcome me. If you don't, I get that too. I've had some DSs in the past that well, I won't go into that right now. When I finished up at St. John's, my last sermon, I we'd been doing a sermon series on a book by Barbara Brown Taylor called An Altar in the World. That looks backwards to me. So put this part and Linda Nash's card in the mirror when you look at that. Yeah, I think that's backwards. Anyway, I use this last chapter of her book called The Practice of pronouncing blessings. The book is called An Altar in the World. This is the last chapter, The Practice of Pronouncing Blessings. And I'd like to end by sharing just a little bit from this last chapter of hers with you. God has no hands but ours, no bread but the bread we bake, no prayers but the ones we make, whether we know what we are doing or not. When Christians speak of the mystery of the Incarnation, this is what they mean. For reasons beyond anyone's understanding, God has decided to be made known in flesh. Matter matters to God. The most extraordinary things are drenched in divine possibility. Pronouncing blessings upon them is the least that we can do. As I said earlier, the practice itself will teach you what you need to know. Start throwing blessings around, and chances are you will start noticing all kinds of things you never noticed before. Did you ever notice the white and black striped stockings on the stick legs of that blessed mosquito before? Did you ever notice the tiny purple flowers on that blessed moss? One liability of pronouncing blessings out of doors is that it gets hard to walk on things. Once you become aware of them in life, the kinship can really slow you down. Once you become aware of the life in them. This same is true of other people. So as one of those other people, I wish you blessings today.